I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabree. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, good morning. If you were looking for the weekly broadcast of the Ask Welfare Rights program, you've been successful once again. My name is Maureen Taylor, and I work with the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization. And I'm usually here with my colleague, and that's the former national chair of the National Welfare Rights Union, Marion Kramer. But Marion is in semi-retirement and sleeping in this morning. So want to welcome you to the weekly broadcast. Numbers you already know, but in case you don't, they're at the bottom of your screen. And the numbers to call in, 313-868-0342, 313-868-0351, or 313-868-4336. There are lots of ways to get a hold of this broadcast. Good morning, young man. All righty. And you can go to the website at www.tv33whpr.com. I'm reminded that I should remind you that if you call into the station with information or to get information, don't use your speakerphone because it causes an echo and then we can't hear each other. So if you call in, just listen to the conversation on your radio or on your phone is what I want to say. A couple of things I want to talk about this morning. Welfare rights and some of our attorneys, we took the Detroit Water and Sewage Department to task. And we leveled a lawsuit against the Water Department because effective the 31st of December, 2020, the Water Department was prepared to start mass water shutoffs again. And, since March of 2020, when the COVID virus was strangling us, the Water Department was ordered by the governor, Governor Whitmer, to stop shutting off water and to restore water in the city of Detroit, primarily because you needed to wash your hands, needed to wash surfaces, and we wanted to make certain that we could control and hold down the number of COVID-related problems as best as we could. And you all remember how difficult that period was. Let me make this scarf act right. All right, that's the other side over here. So we dealt with that particular situation, and the governor was very progressive in terms of getting into discussions with cities across the state and having everybody's water on because it was a health issue. And you all remember how difficult, Lord, how stressful 2020 was, 2021 has been, and now 2022, all of the problems that we've had with COVID, the number of relatives, people right here at this station that passed away, celebrities here, and people that call in with information. We lost more than a few. So when the notion came up that the moratorium or the protection against water shutoffs was going to end the last day in 2022, of course, we were quite alarmed. And the real reason that we were alarmed, not to say that cutting off water, mass water addresses is not alarming enough, But the real issue was the fact that the Lifeline program, which the city has offered, and they're calling it a water affordability plan. It's not that. It's a water rationing plan. And the fear was and is that folks that want to get involved in the Lifeline program, they have to dial and get in contact with Wayne Metro, 388-9799, 388-9799. My allergies are suddenly going crazy. So what we found is that so many people were calling down to welfare rights and saying they were trying to enroll in the Lifeline program, but they couldn't get through. We made some calls over to friends that we know at Wayne Metro, and they're only able to take 350 to 400 calls a day, processing them. And there are some 8,000 outstanding addresses and phone numbers and residents that are really trying to get into the Lifeline program. But if you have a 400 call limit that you can take in a day, and you've got 8,000 outstanding telephone calls that you have to get to, and that number is not static. You have to continue adding up. It's more than 8,000. Then that means that there's a problem trying to access it. So part of our lawsuit was to explain to the judge, Judge Hood, that there were so many people that were trying to enroll in the Lifeline program, and that the water department should be held, should stop them from talking about let's go start disconnecting water when you have so many that are trying to get in the program and so many others that may not have heard about the Lifeline program, and that water access for public water was going to end on the 31st of December. And that would be unfair. So that was our case. It's been about 3 weeks now, and we haven't heard from Judge Hood yet. We're hearing from our attorneys that she is close to making a decision. But our position at Welfare Rights is that we would ask the judge to continue to apply the moratorium. Let it last longer as we try to get more people into the Lifeline program. But regardless of what she says, and we're really just really concerned about this. At some point, the city is making the argument that if this $40 million in back payments is not addressed, that the city could very well be looking at another episode with bankruptcy. We're not anywhere near that. $40 million in arrears. The other part of this that is just flawed in terms of the analysis is that the way the city is talking about this, it sounds like there's $40 million in outstanding debt that's laid to the feet of low-income people. And what we're finding out is that that's not the case. A lot of other folks that are not low income heard about the moratorium, heard about the governor's edict that no water could be shut off, so they either stopped paying completely or just paid the $25, which they could afford to pay their entire bills. So all of these misleading messages are out here. Myself, I don't really care. The governor has said that there's about $2.88 billion with a B dollars that are available for projects throughout the state. And what I think is that we need, and I'm saying that to welfare rights members and others, we need to know, A, if you're having problems with with a water bill, you're having problems with the water bill, you know someone else is having problems keeping up with the water bill. If you have a large arrearage, or what you think is large, and you're going to need some help with this, then you should be calling the Lifeline program, 388-9799. I've already suggested that you're not going to be able to get in and get through those phone lines. So what you should do after you make that attempt 2 or 3 times, you can't get through, then you should be calling us down at Welfare Rights, 313-964-0618. 313-964-0618. You should be calling us at Welfare Rights and letting us know that A, you're having trouble with your water bill, B, you're trying to get involved in the Lifeline program, and C, you can't get through, or you left a message this week, last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and no one has called you back. So we can put together a program, maybe get your name, your address, contact information, some other kind of personal information that we might require, and email that information, mail that information into the water department, to Gary Brown's attention, or to some of the other folks that we are aware of that work at the water department. Long and short of what I'm explaining is that you have to become active, proactive. Can't wait on this one. If your water gets cut off, if you don't remember what it was like in 2014 and 2015, it is pure D hell to get that water turned back on again, and you get a rude awakening. Your water gets cut off, whatever the amount is that you owe, you still have to pay that. Plus, there's a fine because your water was cut off. There's a fine for being behind and a reconnection fee. So, because you're poor, you get charged more. You get charged more because you are low income. So, clearly, I'm going to ask folks at the station, maybe get a hold of H.T. Henry Tyler later on, and talk about how to run some kind of notice to tell people if you are behind on your water bill, you need some help with your water bill arrearages, contact Wayne Metro or Welfare Rights, and maybe run that message 3 or 4 times a day for the next week or so until we could get our hands around this. We're doing everything we can think of to stop the city of Detroit, to not let them engage mass water shutoffs again. It's just unconscionable, just unconscionable. The governor has money in it's not even a rainy day fund. These are some of these dollars from the American Rescue Act. And there's money there. And we suggest, said 2 or 3 times, water department, let's get a breakdown of these $40 million worth of debts you say are outstanding. And let's figure out welfare recipients, seniors on a fixed income, disabled people on a fixed income, veterans on a fixed income. Let's get families with children on a fixed income. Let's get that list together, and I'm assuming they have it or know how to get it. And those are the folks that we want the governor's excess dollars, if we can call them that, to go toward that group of people. If we can afford $46 billion with a B and send it to women and children, disabled women and children, elderly people, parents with children, if we can spend $46 billion taxpayer dollars to sisters and brothers in the Ukraine, we need to be able to spend at least $46 billion on sisters and brothers across America. And some of that needs to come to Detroit. Some of that needs to come to Wayne County, Oakland County. Some of that needs to come to households in Michigan that are struggling with utilities. So I wanted to at least raise that. Welfare Rights number again, 313-964-0618. All right, there is a new program, allergies, a new program being operated and offered by the city of Detroit, and it's called Grow Detroit Youth Talent. Grow Detroit Youth Talent. And this is a program aimed at 14 to 24-year-olds who are interested in summer work, being trained. Some of these jobs are paying jobs while you get trained. So that's going on right now. This is February, and the time to get engaged and involved in this. Oh, here comes the best engineer in the world. He knows just what to do when you got allergy problems. You have to get 2-ply. There you go. 2-ply. It works. Thank you so very much. Right. So, folks that are in high school and folks that are out of high school and have not been able to secure some kind of employment should be reaching out and right away to the Grow Detroit Youth Talent Program, 313 876 0674. 313-876-0674. Now, that's the Grow Detroit Youth Talent, and it is open to young folks that are between the ages of 14 and 24. You want a job, you want to be trained to do something over the summer and longer, that's where you call 313-876-0674. All right. I said this once, but I'm going to say it again. I'm going to mention it several times. If you are aware of someone with an outstanding water problem, folks since March of 2020, low income, should have been paying $25 a month to keep your water halfway solvent, lack of a better phrase, being involved with payments for delinquent water bills. A lot of folks did that, but there's a significant number that didn't pay anything because you were protected and you knew that the governor had already ordered water not be turned off. Well, the day of reckoning has arrived. So you should be taking a look. If you know someone, a family, a community that fits that, we're looking for folks that have problems with a water bill. $150 in arrears, 2 months behind in payments. Looking for those folks that are in trouble with water, and we want to get to that group before the water gets shut off because it's just too hard after your water is shut off. Just too difficult to try to get it back on again. And then the individual renter or homeowner is in even more trouble, and that's because once the water bill is negotiated, what your payments are going to be, it's always more than what you could barely afford. But the other part of this is that you get fined because you're poor. It costs more money. You're being, what do they call it, the penalty phase. You get a fine for that, and then there's a reconnection fee. So let's avoid that. 313-388-9799 is the direct number to Wayne Metro. But so many, thousands of people are not able to get through. If you can't get through, share this information and call us at Welfare Rights, 313-964-0618, and we will get that information together, whatever information we think we need, and we'll send that information over to both Wayne Metro and over to the water department, and making certain that they will not turn your water off while you're trying to get into the Lifeline program. Caller, thank you for your patience, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you're on the air.
Grand Rising.
And Grand Rising, how are you today?
I feel wonderful. How about you? How with those allergies? How you doing?
My favorite engineer bought 2-ply in here so I could deal with this runny nose. So I took my medications, and they ought to be kicking in any minute now. But I'm hanging in there.
That's good to hear.
All right, Madam Grand Rising, what's going on in Highland Park that we need to know about, including this drizzle that's happening outside right now? What else is going on in Highland Park?
What's going on in Highland Park and all over the United States and some even parts of the world, too? February is known as Black History Month.
That's right.
We owe the celebration of Black History Month, and more importantly, the study of Black history, to Dr. Carter G. Woodson.
Carter G., yep.
Born to parents who were former slaves, he spent his childhood working in the Kentucky coal mines and enrolled in high school at age 20. He graduated within 2 years and later went on to earn a Ph.D. from Harvard. Ain't that some Black excellence?
That's some Black history excellence. Yes, it is.
The scholar was disturbed to find in his studies that history books largely ignored the black American population. And when blacks did figure into the picture, it was greatly in ways that reflected the inferior social position they were assigned at that time.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Those who have no record of what their forebears have accomplished lose the inspiration which comes from teaching of biography and history. These are the words of Dr. Carter Goodwin, distinguished black author, editor, publisher, and historian, born December 1875, transition April 1950. Carter G. Woodson believed that blacks should know their past in order to participate intelligently in the affairs in our country. He strongly believed that black history, which others have tried so diligently to erase, is a firm foundation for young black Americans to build on in order to become a productive citizens in our society.
Amen to that. Okay, at my school, we've got high school students being asked to put narratives together about someone in prominent or maybe not so prominent in terms of Black history. The elementary school is preparing some kind of a Black history program. We've got placards and quotes all over the building, and talking about Phyllis Wheatley, talking about Mary McLeod Bethune, all kinds of things and whatnot. So February, and this is the month that we stop and take a pause to figure out what our ancestors brought to this country. So, Madam Grand Rising, as always, you are spot on.
I got a question for you.
Go right ahead.
Riddle.
A riddle.
Who wrote Since I Fell for You?
Since I Fell for You, Lenny. First name is Lenny. I've known the children of pain. I forgot his last. I know his first name is Lenny. It'll come back to me. Since I fell for you.
That's the song.
That's it.
Maybe they called him Lenny, but his name was Woodson Wilson Buddy Johnson.
Oh, well, see, okay. No, maybe that's the one that wrote it, or is that the one that sang it?
He wrote it.
Okay, so he wrote it, and Lenny sang it.
Johnson was an American jump blues pianist and band leader active from the 1930s through the 1960s. His songs were often performed by his sister, Ella Johnson, most notably Since I Fell for You, which became a jazz standard.
Yes.
Buddy Johnson, Since I Fell for You, is a blues ballad composed by Buddy Johnson in 1945 that was first popularized by his sister, Ella Johnson, when Buddy Johnson and his orchestra.
All right, that's a new name and a page out of Black history. I knew the words to the song at one time, but okay. All righty. That's
it's a beautiful
important
song.
to know.
It's still being played. You know, it seems that everything is just immortal when it's done right.
Everything that was is coming back again.
Yes, it is.
Yes. What is her name? In this world.
Oh, not Dinah Washington. Who is it?
No.
Ordinary
people.
I'm glad there's you.
I'm glad there is you. Yeah, I've been playing that. Who is that, Mr. Engineer? In this world. It'll come back to me. I can look it up. But I've been playing it for the last 2 days. A pure jazz classic. Pure classic. So, we've got a whole lot of people, persons of color, African Americans that have contributed gobs of all kind of things to Americana living. You know, so all right, that's good. Give us some more reports, Madam Grand Rising.
Once again, COVID is still here and has not packed its bag. There's so many variants. I don't even remember what the last variant is.
There was a BA5, number
There you
5
go.
variant,
There you
but
go.
we're still able to get shots and get vaccines
That's
over
right.
at the
That's right.
Pitkin Red. Tell us about that.
That's right. You can get your booster, your first and your second vaccines, and even your testing today, Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 10 Pinkett, Ernest T. Ford Fieldhouse in beautiful Highland Park. There's no waiting.
That's right. Walk right in. And somebody called me at my job last week to tell me that they got a what is it? What's the name of the shot that you can get now?
Flu?
No, not the flu shot. They're giving that out too. I forgot the other one where you end up with the rashes on your body. 50
Oh,
years of age,
shingles.
shingles. That you can get the shingles shot up there too these days.
Oh.
Okay. Well, that's important news. Very important news. I'll be at a online medical report Zoom meeting later on this afternoon to listen to where the not just the vaccine, but where are the COVID numbers, the RSV numbers of folks that have been diagnosed with pneumonia. All of that is going to be made available in this Zoom call I'll be on a little bit later on today, given by Dr. Bagdasarian, a new young woman, outstanding young physician and researcher who will be talking about how the numbers are looking in terms of those people that are affected by especially COVID. So it's not, I like the way you put it, Madam Grand Rising. It's still here. Has not packed the bags and has not left town yet. Still here. Still here. Still here.
It's the visitor that won't go away.
Yeah, like that uncle that you let live in your basement and was supposed to stay there for about a week and a half, and now you look again and they still down there. It's been 2 years. They're still in the basement, Oh my goodness. Grand Rising, what happened at your latest block club meeting? You ought to have a meeting yesterday?
No, it's
Last
next
week?
Thursday. We're the first and third Thursday of the month.
Okay,
So
anything
that's
to
next
report?
week.
Oh, yeah, but what about last week? Anything to report about the last meeting? Anything significant that we should know?
Well, we just talked about that. First of all, we're grateful and thankful to be together here at that time. We're getting what do you call them? The committee chairs are having meetings for our various activities throughout this year.
Yes.
And so we wanted to make sure that everybody had a clear understanding of their roles, those that are in the committee and those that are chair. And please reach out for help, because even though you have a committee, you can still call somebody that's not even in the committee for a helping hand.
That's very true.
In March, we're having our Ancestor Salute, which is a dinner celebrating, remembering those that have gone on. It's so important, especially with this time where, all ages, all sexes, all races are just leaving every time you blink your eye. So we're having a dinner to celebrate and commemorate our loved ones that have passed.
Yeah. Okay, now when is that event again?
March the 29th.
March the 29th. And what I'm doing is looking up this song, because now it's driving me nuts. Now I'm glad there's you. Now it's making me crazy now. So, all right, so we have a little time. Go ahead, Madam Grand Rising.
You know what? I'm just remembering, where are the black hospitals?
Well, we had several. Southwest General over there on Michigan Avenue, been gone a long time now. We had a wonderful hospital on Davison, and I've forgotten the name of that one. The reason I forget these things is because we're talking decades since they were there. There was a wonderful hospital. Let me see, Dr. Vincent Combs. And I remember some of those names. Those folks have passed on already. But we had black hospitals and black clinics.
Yes,
and
we
whatnot,
do.
superior health
Yes.
care. Superior health care. And
Say
all
that.
of those things gone now. Gone
Mm-hmm.
now. Those things are not here anymore. So, and even the hospitals that are there, that are here and right now, are chains.
Mm-hmm.
Beaumont, they don't call it Beaumont
Yeah.
anymore, has
Mm-hmm.
10 or 12 locations.
Mm-hmm.
DMC, that used to be receiving. If you recall,
Mm-hmm.
Madam Grand Rising, DMC was the place to go if you've been shot twice, run over
Right.
once, and stabbed 7 times, and you were a cat, and all 8 of your lives were gone. The last life you had, you wanted to go to receiving hospital, because those physicians over there could bring you back from you already sitting in the waiting line with St. Peter, and they grab you back and keep you back over this side a little bit longer. I don't know that it still
Mm-hmm.
has the same reputation. I did my undergraduate work there because I knew
Okay.
it was the #1 trauma center, certainly for this area, but highly, highly
Mm-hmm.
rated. So
Right.
I don't things change
Yeah.
with the economy becoming more and more difficult to live through. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have what you used to have.
Health care
Earthelene
providers.
Crockett was
Yes.
OBGYN, first OBG. My mother took me to Earthelene Crockett to have my first
Mm-hmm.
test, a series of examinations when I was a little girl. And,
Mm-hmm.
scared to death, going to the doctor. And Earthelene Crockett sat down and held your hand and say, well,
Yeah.
Maureen, let me tell you what's going to happen. And explain everything to you so you didn't have to be worried. Then
Mm-hmm.
somebody suggested that her name should be taken off of a school
Mm.
and Ben Carson's name. And of course, I was down there with my
Uh-oh.
slingshot too. Get his name off that building. But
He's off.
yeah, he's off, But the nerve that somebody would even suggest, taking
Mm-hmm.
Earthelene Crockett's name off,
Right.
which is a
Right.
black history icon.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
I was reading an article from 1917 to 1991. 18 black-owned and operated hospitals service the people of Detroit. Losing their
18?
footing. 18.
Wow. I believe it.
Hmm.
I believe it.
Losing their footing to the detriments of financial turmoil, the destruction of urban renewal of the 1950s and the 60s, and the loss of patients due to racial integration of the healthcare system. There was an exhibit that was created by the Southeastern Michigan community, and it was a group of private citizens and professionals from universities, and to do this study on the black hospitals.
Yeah, and they've gone the way of history.
Hmm.
My goodness, my goodness.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say this name, Gloria
Okay.
Lynn.
That's right.
Found it. Yeah, it
Gloria
was making me
Lynn.
crazy. I couldn't pull that name out, but the Gloria Lynn, and
She had a sweet,
her
sweet,
sitting
sweet
at the
voice.
piano. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
that's right.
Okay, all right. Well,
I
all right,
was
Madam
raised
Grand
on some
Rising.
Gloria Lynn now.
Well, your mother and father were music lovers, so I
Yes.
know that's what you heard. There was a time that on Saturdays, especially when it was time for the family or somebody to clean the house. Saturday, we're going to dust off the furniture, we're going to vacuum the
Yes.
floors, whatever. And in my house, my father said, you all are crazy. You got all this loud music in here. And Daddy, go in your room and put some earplugs in. Go, we're going to play this music. And Mama put music on, and that's
Hmm.
what we used as we were
Hmm.
dusting. And we've got a table at my job. And here's another trip down memory lane. Got a table at my job, and folks there, the cleaning staff, they're using something that streaks the table up. And a wooden table. Now, Madam Grand
Mm.
Rising, do you remember what we used to use if there was a wooden piece of furniture? What you used to clean dust off of it?
Um, what was that? It smelled real good too.
In dust. That was
In
one of
dust,
them.
and there were English What was
Murphy Oil.
Murphy's Oil? There you go.
Yeah, and it took a while for I couldn't remember it. I had to go throughout the school in my building and ask some folks to call their grandparents.
That Murphy's
and
Oil.
Murphy Oil soap and whatnot. Keep a luster on the
Yeah.
table and whatnot.
Yes.
Talking to some of these young folks, we used to use that. What is that? Let me go ahead. There's no point in even talking to you about anything.
know.
You have no point of reference. No point of reference. But yeah, it was in dust, and then that other one was a Murphy Oil. Yeah,
Murphy's
yeah.
Oil. Murphy's Oil soap.
You remember? I tell you, boy. Madam Grand Rising, tell us anything else we need to know.
I just want to talk about also remembrance of the black soldiers stand at the grave sites of the black soldiers at Elmwood Cemetery.
Elmwood Cemetery, Buffalo Soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
One of my
saga of the black defense of our country's
yeah.
freedom fighters forever remembered.
Elmwood, right down there, right around. My family was born in 1735 McDougal between Sherman and Madison. So on McDougal, Elmwood was the next street over. So when Mama said, go up to Webster's on your bike and go get some ribs, my sister and I would go down McDougal till she couldn't see us anymore. And then we turn right and go over there to that Elmwood Cemetery and put our hands on the bars and look through and look at the different names of soldiers till we found where the black soldiers were buried. We ride all the way around the cemetery because it was an historical site. So we stay there 15 minutes. Oh, we got to go, and then come back to McDougal and go to Webster's barbecue and get what Mama ordered and come on back home. But that's right, the Buffalo Soldiers. Now, it's a movie. Jeffrey Hunter and Woody, what's Woody's last name? It'll come back to me. And the name of the movie
Woody
is...
Carlson?
I'll look it up. Sergeant Rutledge.
Okay.
And that's the name of it. And it comes out usually Black History. And let me look it up right now. Madam Grand Rising, you making me go to my cell phone and look up some stuff here. And let me look this up.
All right.
Sergeant Rutledge. It's S-R-U-T-L-E-D-G-E.
That was made in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, it was, 1960 film. Woody Stroud.
Woody Stroud.
Yeah, yeah, man. It was spectacular. At a U.S. Army fort in Arizona, an officer is murdered. His beautiful young daughter beaten, raped, and strangled. And a Army legal defense went forward. And his name was Woody Strode, and he played the part of African-American Sergeant Braxton Rutledge.
Okay.
Oh, it's one of my favorites. Those that are listening to this broadcast, if you've never seen it, and you guys know about Netflix and all the rest of that, go find you some Sergeant Rutledge and take a look at it, because it's really, really interesting. He was in charge, Sergeant Rutledge, of a platoon of soldiers that were all black. 424-8825. Call Satisfaction Realty so that you can get engaged in that process. They can put your name on a list, start talking to you about affordable rentals. Also, the United Community Housing Coalition has a list also of affordable housing, subsidized apartments. What is that? Ruth used to train us, subsidized base. That means everybody in the apartment complex, everybody in the townhouse complex, all of the apartments, all of the units are subsidized. And what does that mean? Whatever your income is, you pay a portion of it, and the federal government pays the rest. Contact United Community Housing Coalition for affordable housing, or if you're in some trouble with your rent being behind, your mortgage being behind, if you housing issues like that, contact them, 313-963-3310, 963-3310. All right, here's two more pieces of information. We ran across a group called Open Doors. And I'd never heard of them before. Open Doors is a property management team that has a list of more than 300 apartments and houses, mostly houses, that are available for Section 8 certificate and voucher holders. They pass all of the inspection criteria. Windows that are broken are fixed, handrails to go up and down the steps inside the house or outside the house repaired, painting is done. Really keep up some beautiful properties. There always going to be something that's not right. The garbage collection or collector device in the sink is not working, or those kinds of things that happen on a regular basis. But before tenants move in, all of those things are inspected. Lansing comes down and inspects everything. I've been on a couple of inspections, and they take more than an hour, up to between 60 to 90 minutes, where they go door to door to look at the cold water exchange, the heat exchange, light bulb fixtures that are hanging down, wires that are exposed. All of those things have to be in good shape. So the number to Open Doors, if you have a Section 8 certificate or a Section 8 voucher, that's all they take. That's all they take. You want to call this number, area code 313-398-0581, 313-398-0581. Open Doors. Just before the Ask Welfare Rights broadcast comes on, there's a commercial where Treasurer Eric Sabree is talking about the MyHop program. I don't know what word to use. I don't know why we are not calling Wayne Metro to get information on how you can get enrolled in the MyHop program that deals with back taxes, that deals with back mortgage payments, that deals with all of these issues that has to do with housing. Same number, 388-9799, 388-9799. The MyHop program stands for MI, Michigan, HAF, Housing Assistance Fund. We should be calling them, getting involved, asking for assistance. You need help on last year's taxes, help on, that's 2022, 2021, 2020. If my memory serves me correctly, you can get help with back taxes back to 2019. But even if my memory is flawed, there's money there to help folks because COVID has been extremely brutal in Michigan. COVID has been very, very devastating. So a lot of people lost their total jobs, got cut down to part-time jobs. The jobs disappeared, and people started to get behind. And we're talking about March of 2020. That's how far back we go in terms of how difficult and how we've had to hold on. A lot of agencies didn't survive COVID. A lot of industries, small industries, did not survive COVID. So people should be as involved, thank you, people should be as involved as possible, but there are dollars there to help. If you own a small business and you were able to keep your business open with 1, 2, 3, 4 of your staff people as best as you could, there are new programs that are out here now to try to reward you because you kept your business open. 313-388-9799. 313-388-9799. You should be calling these places before all of these programs end. The money's not going to stay there forever. So there are a lot of things that are happening. The governor has put together several million of dollars to try to talk about building affordable housing, renovating affordable housing. If you want to get involved, that means you have to call somewhere and tell somebody, I want some help with a light bill, I want some help with a gas bill, I need some help with a water bill, I'm behind on my taxes. Call somebody. Call somebody. If you can't figure out where to go or who to talk to, or you were turned down or you couldn't get the information, you can always call us at Welfare Rights, 313-964-0618. 964-0618. We're going to have about 5 minutes left. And I wanted to say something about this rise in violent crimes. We're watching the police. We need police reform. There's no question about it. Watching the number of young people that are standing outside the convenience stores and standing around the other side of the gas station and robbing people, mostly at night. Not always, but mostly at night. And I've talked about this before. Certainly Marion and I and Sylvia and Nicole and Gwen and Cookie and other folks, we're having some discussions about maybe launching some kind of a community crime summit where we come together without the assistance and support of the police at first and talk about what we might suggest. What can we do to cut down on some of this? And almost always the answer has something to do with economics. These young folks need work. They need a job. They need an opportunity to make their own money. Certainly between the ages of 14 and 24, 313-876-0674. This Grow Detroit Youth Talent Program is open to young people between 14 and 24 to go get some work. And we have to do something because the police, they're asking for help. And no, the police can't solve this. These are community issues. The young man that shot and killed my cousin, Mr. Thurman, 19 years old. Something has to happen, and that's something to try to turn some of this around and at least turn some of this violence down. It has to come from us, has to come from the community. So stay tuned to this network. Stay tuned to what we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks here. And I'll end with this last piece. You know, some of us know that Welfare Rights has been dealing directly with HUD out of Washington, D.C. And thank you, sir. And HUD, we're trying to get them to come to Detroit so we can talk about how do we access Section 8 certificates, how do we get vouchers, and these kinds of things. In the meanwhile, while we negotiate some dates between February and March where we might get HUD operatives to come to Detroit, we'll go down to Wayne County Community College on 4th Street. You already know. A whole big program. And we're going to take names of folks, addresses, contact information that may be having some problems with Section 8 certificates. These landlords are notorious. These property management companies are notorious. So we're going to start having a conversation about a major event to take place at WC3 where we can sign people up who are interested in getting a Section 8 certificate, a voucher, those that already have a Section 8 and or voucher and still having trouble accessing, or those that have a Section 8 certificate and or a voucher already in a place and having conflicts with these property management owners that will not make repairs, and have our people, our community, not just black, but have our people, low income and moderate income people, living in places that are absolutely unlivable. We've got all of this going on. Welfare Rights is going to step in the breach here and try to see what we can do to get both HUD operatives together with 400 or 500 folks in Detroit, in Highland Park, in Hamtramck. Date yet to be announced, but we're negotiating some dates right now to try to figure out if we can get HUD to come in at a town hall meeting so we can raise some of these issues. We'll collect the names and whatnot and make certain that we forward all of the folks that are interested in accessing affordable housing and send those. You know, the Secretary of HUD, Housing and Urban Development, is Miss Marcia Fudge. She's an African-American woman that was well, she's state senator in Ohio, I think it was. She's an outstanding woman, only been in the job 2 years, and it's a lot of renovations that she's putting in place across the nation, and I support that, but I'm interested in what we need in Wayne County, Oakland County, Macomb County, and we need some help right here. So keep close to this radio station all the time, especially on Fridays, as we try to nail down some dates sometime in late February and sometime in March, if we could get those dates set up, where we can bring people out to a town hall meeting over on 4th Street at the college in the atrium, where we could put 500 or 600 chairs and get people to come there to get on the list. We'll have DTE there to folks that may need some help with the back DTE bill. We'll have somebody from the treasurer's office there to get some written up information on how to get some help with some housing matters. Certainly, somebody from the water department will be on site so that we could get some help from that area. We're going to deal with veterans, and we'll have a veterans table. We're going to deal with folks who are disabled, and we'll have a table there with folks that are disabled and having particular problems. We're going to deal with transportation. And why can't we get more bus service to manage doctor's appointments and whatnot for so many people that are struggling because they don't have a private car? So we're going to do all of that over the next several weeks. And if you want to be involved, that means you'll stay in contact and in touch with the wonderful WHPR TV 33. My name is Maureen Taylor. I've given up enough information. If you don't know what to do by now, go call somebody else. Lord willing and the creek don't rise, I will be back next Friday, and there's no telling if Marion feels like coming to the program and we do it together. Until then, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Bye.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabree. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its 3rd year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.